Hello and welcome to Great Minds channel. In this video, we will talk about 14 common history myths that are completely false. History has a way of becoming distorted over time. While history books aim to tell the truth, they often leave out crucial details, a significant portion of what we've been led to believe for centuries. Well, it turns out many of them are just myths. Some of these tales have been exaggerated, some shaped by Hollywood, and others completely fabricated. Get ready to dive into these misconceptions and become the life of the party with your newfound historical insights. Number 1. Einstein failed in math. Ever heard the inspiring tale that Albert Einstein failed math? It's a charming story, but it's completely false. By the time he was a teenager, Einstein was already tackling college-level equations for fun. This myth likely stems from a misunderstanding of his school's grading system. So, contrary to popular belief, Einstein wasn't an underdog who struggled with math. He was a math prodigy from the start. Number 2. Vikings wore horned helmets. You've seen it countless times. Vikings donning horned helmets as they prepare for battle. Sorry to burst your bubble, but that never actually happened. The horned helmet myth originated from 19th century operas, not from authentic Viking life. In reality, Vikings wore simple, functional helmets centrally without horns. Number 3. Napoleon was short. The world loves poking fun at Napoleon, often labeling him as a short king. However, the truth is that Napoleon stood around 5'6" inches, or 1.68 meters, which was average height for his time. So, where did the myth come from? It all started due to a mix-up between French and English measurements, along with a bit of British propaganda depicting him as a diminutive, irritable man. In reality, Napoleon was a brilliant strategist and a remarkably ambitious leader. Number 4. Medieval people believed that the Earth was flat. No, medieval humans weren't wandering around, fearing they'd fall off the planet's edge. In fact, intellectuals in medieval and ancient times knew the Earth was a sphere, a concept that dates back to ancient Greece. The idea that people believed in a flat Earth is a myth that originated much later, and was used to paint past societies as less knowledgeable than they actually were. Number 5. The Great Wall of China is visible from space. Hate to burst this bubble, but astronauts have confirmed. The Great Wall of China is not visible from space. It's simply too narrow and blends seamlessly with its surroundings. In fact, while astronauts can spot vast highways and sprawling cities from orbit, a single long, thin wall is not one of them. Number 6. The Salem witch trials burned witches at the stake. Contrary to popular belief, the accused witches in Salem were not burned at the stake. They were executed by hanging. The misconception of burning witches stems from European witch hunts, not from the events in Salem. However, this distinction doesn't make the Salem witch trials any less horrifying. Number 7. Marie Antoinette said, "Let them eat cake." It's one of the most infamous quotes ever, but Marie Antoinette never actually said, "Let them eat cake." The phrase had already appeared in writings years before her time, and there is no record of her ever uttering those words. However, it certainly made for a memorable villainous moment in history books. Number 8. Paul Revere yelled, "The British are coming." The midnight ride of Paul Revere is legendary, but that famous shout, it never happened. Considering most colonists still thought of themselves as British, running through the streets, yelling, "The British are coming," wouldn't have made much sense. Instead, Revere quietly warned people, relying on a network of riders to spread the crucial message. Number 9. The Emancipation Proclamation set all slaves free. Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation is often credited with freeing all slaves, but in reality, it only applied to slaves in the rebellious Confederate states. Slaves in the loyal Union border states had to wait a bit longer for their freedom, which came with the ratification of the 13th Amendment. History is complex, and the full story is often more nuanced than what we read in textbooks. Number 10. Cleopatra was Egyptian. Cleopatra is one of Egypt's most famous leaders, but here's a little-known fact. She wasn't actually Egyptian. She was a member of the Ptolemaic dynasty, descendants of Alexander the Great's Greek generals. While she ruled Egypt, her ancestry was purely Greek. Number 11. George Washington's teeth were wooden. Washington's teeth were infamous for their poor condition, but they weren't made of wood. Instead, his dentures were crafted from a combination of real human teeth, animal bones, and ivory, a far grimmer reality. Just imagine wearing someone else's teeth. Number 12. People in the Middle Ages were filthy all the time. It's a common stereotype that medieval people lived in filth, never bathed, and constantly reeked. However, this isn't entirely true. While not everyone showered as we do today, many did bathe, often in communal bathhouses. While hygiene practices weren't as advanced, medieval folks didn't live in perpetual squalor. Number 13. The Trojan horse was real. The epic Trojan legend. Well, historians aren't entirely convinced it actually happened. While the fall of Troy is likely rooted in reality, the famous wooden horse is pure mythology, not supported by historical records. It may have symbolized another form of deception, but a literal horse filled with soldiers? That's highly improbable. Number 14. Gladiators always fought to the death. Hollywood loves to depict gladiators battling to a gruesome, over-the-top death, but the reality was less sensational. Gladiators were expensive to train and valuable to their owners, so most fights didn't end in death. Instead, most battles resembled a form of wrestling, complete with a referee and a set of rules. While it was still brutal, it wasn't always a fight to the death. That's the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe for more videos.